Sassuolo vs Fiorentina prediction, team news, lineups preview. Having climbed into Serie A's top four, Fiorentina aim to preserve their place among Italy's elite on Saturday, when they visit struggling Sassuolo. A run of 4 wins from 5 has lifted La Viola above several big names in the chasing pack, while their hosts are embroiled in a battle against the drop. Match preview. This week's trip to Reggio Emilia represents the halfway stage of Fiorentina's Serie A season, and recent results suggest they could be genuine contenders for Champions League qualification. Last year's Europa Conference League runners-up have not only progressed to the knockout phase of the same competition again this term, but their previously patchy domestic form has improved over the past few weeks. Only AC Milan and Juventus have beaten them since the start of November. Vincenzo Italiano's side have won 3 consecutive league matches without conceding a goal after last week's 1-0 victory over Torino at Stadio Artemio Franchi, in which defender Luca Ranieri scored for the first time in Serie A following a series of important strikes in Europe. A 10th win of the season took the Viola clear of Bologna, Atalanta BC, Scudetto holders Napoli, and both Rome clubs in the standings, and ended an eventful calendar year in style. Fiorentina's first fixture of 2024 arrives just ahead of a Coppa Italia quarter-final with Bologna next Tuesday, and following their final defeat to Inter Milan last season, they will ultimately aim to go one better in that competition and finally end a long wait for silverware. First, though, they tackle another Emilian side, against whom they won both Serie A contests last term, having failed to taste success in any of the club's previous 5 league meetings. Beaten 2-1 and 3-1 by Fiorentina last season, Sassuolo have at least scored in each of their last 11 games against the Tuscan side, but finding the net has rarely been a problem for a team boasting prolific winger Domenico Berardi. While the Neroverdi boast the 8th best goal tally in Serie A so far, with just 2 fewer than this weekend's opponents, they have gone 26 consecutive matches without a clean sheet in the league. And they are the only team without at least 1 shutout in 2023-24. Following losses to Genoa and Milan either side of Christmas, Sassuolo have exactly the same record as last season after 18 games played, with 16 points gleaned from 4 wins and 4 draws, leaving them just 2 points above the relegation zone. After a midweek trip to Bergamo saw Alessio Dionisi's men slip out of the Coppa Italia. Having been beaten 3-1 by Atalanta, they now return to the Mapei Stadium, where their weak form suggests that a grim battle to survive may be on the cards this spring. No team lost more Serie A home matches throughout 2023-10 level with Empoli. And Sassuolo have not won any of their last 6 ahead of Fiorentina's visit on Saturday, the Emilian club's worst such streak since 2018. Team news. In addition to long-term absentees Dodo and Gaetano Castrovilli, both of whom are on the long road to recovery from ACL injuries, Fiorentina will be without Nico Gonzalez and Riccardo Sottil, both thigh, on Saturday evening. With the latter pair sidelined and Christian Kwame now representing hosts Ivory Coast at the Africa Cup of Nations, Josip Brekalo could come into the starting 11 as part of the supporting cast for either Lucas Beltran or Mbalanzola, who has turned down a call-up by Angola. After recording his first Serie A assist against Torino, young right-back Michael Kayode will start in the visitors' defense, alongside last week's match winner Luca Ranieri. Meanwhile, Sassuolo's treatment room is still occupied by Rose Rasic, Gregoire Defrel, Matthias Vina, and Pedro Obiang, but Daniel Baloca returned in midweek and scored a late consolation goal in the Coppa Italia exit to Atalanta. Alessio Dionisi rotated his squad on Wednesday, so fringe players such as Samuel Mulattieri and Christian Volpato should drop down to the bench. Injury-prone talisman Domenico Berardi will be back in the hosts' starting lineup. Berardi, who has recorded 10 Serie A strikes against Fiorentina to date, having only netted more times versus Milan 11, should link up with Andrea Pinamonti and French winger Armand Lorient in the final third. Sassuolo possible starting lineup: Consigli, Toljan, Ehrlich, Ferrari, Peterson, Enrique, Thorstved, Berardi, Bajrami, Lorient, Pinamonti. Fiorentina possible starting lineup: Terracciano, KO'd, Milinkovic, Ranieri, Biraghi, Duncan, Arthur, Icone, Bonaventura, Brecalo, Beltran. We say, Sassuolo 1-2 Fiorentina. The distraction of a midweek Coppa Italia defeat will have done struggling Sassuolo no favors ahead of a tough test against informed Fiorentina. As the Viola have had more than a week to prepare for their first fixture of 2024, expect them to edge out a home side that simply cannot stop conceding goals. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.